The curtain raise gets me every time. We got the best. We got the best walkout song, curtain raise in the business. I'm sorry, we just do. Shout out to JJ Boogie once again for the amazing theme music for this show. So, what do you want to talk about this week? I feel like I should let you maybe talk a little bit more.
I know.
The normal.
The audience is getting annoyed at how overtly partisan I am.
Okay.
And so
I know you've been getting some pushback in recent months. For the first time, people loved you. The people they loved you more than me.
I know.
Until 2 months ago.
They don't.
And then, like, a longtime subscriber wrote me an email about you, Michael.
Yeah.
About your political discrepancies.
Well,
and I wouldn't say he asked for your ouster, but I would say it was implicit. No, but I was like, damn, the tide has turned, because it was just like a Michael fan club around here for 3 years, and then all of a sudden they turn on you because you started talking about tribalism and getting all Catholic on them. And
I'm not.
Well, I think you were being tribalistic.
I'm being tribalistic. Really?
You have been. There have been moments.
This show has been. What could have possibly made me tribalistic? What possibly in the world happening?
Well, which tribe are we talking about? Because you're a member of a few, aren't you? You're what's it called? My God, what's the woke term? Jesus.
Intersectionality. I don't know.
You're intersectional.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. You're like Catholic and white and hetero and a man. That's dope. That's very progressive of you. Oh, and a little fascistic.
The intersectionality never swings that way. We need to talk about the importance of the intersection of white and heterosexual and male, and how those identities intertwine.
So, all that talk, all those conversations in the universities over the last 30 years, none of it applied to us. Like that was just about other people's fun. They developed in this whole Disneyland of identity politics, but we didn't have a pass. So,
that's one thing I do like about continuing this project.
Which is, sorry, I just got to finish this on my white nationalist rant here, which is interesting and ironic, given the fact that they have also told us in so many ways that white people don't have a culture. So wait, why do y'all need cultural centers then?
Yeah.
And we don't.
Well,
I thought we didn't have a culture.
No, that's hopeful projection. That's like they're trying to speak white people not having a culture into existence. They're actively hostile to American culture, actively hostile to Western culture, the Western tradition stemming from Christianity, following through Europe, following through America. They're actively hostile to that. They want to destroy that. And so they say white people don't have a culture. And they use that as a way of like writing us out of existence and writing us out of history. As if like, because you can't say William Shakespeare, you can't say the entire classical music canon. You can't say any of that has a coherent culture that we all share.
You mean the boring stuff?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
The stuff that people got bored of listening to 100 years ago, and now no one cares about, and they're all introduced to it. Everybody gets to listen. Everybody's forced to listen to it when we're children in school and elsewhere, right? And everybody says no. I'd rather listen to Jay-Z. Thank you very much.
I strong disagree on that.
The market speaks, does it not?
I don't think we live in purely equal market factors, purely vacuous market factors.
So tell me, Western man.
Yeah. And they always compare Jay-Z to Shakespeare. They always compare these people to Shakespeare.
On which grounds do you claim that European classical music is good? Like, how do you demonstrate that? I can demonstrate that Jay-Z is good with about 1 billion votes in his favor in terms of dollars spent on the art that he has created. Now, his music, he's $1 billion spent on his music. So probably more. So what you got? What on what evidentiary grounds do you make this claim, sir? That classical European music is of value?
Listen to Beethoven. Just listen to Beethoven.
I see. Okay.
Right. Just,
nice.
It's
good.
This isn't hard. Just
okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
You're like the minister of propaganda for the alt-right now. It's like,
this is,
and this is pretty much all they have. When I've asked them this question many times. In fact, infamously I got stormed. The last time I got stormed on Twitter was like 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe. What did I say? Something about why is classical music? I don't know, something about this along these lines. Like, why do you think it's good? Or what's good about this architecture? I think it might have been like, and it was just, there was zero arguments. It was just fad, look. Or it was fag, look.
Well,
mostly it was fag, look, because that's mostly their argument.
Not to
12-year-old boys. Sorry, go ahead.
Rare, again, start drinking. I'm going to mention Jack, but Rare Candy had Jack on to discuss Metallica, and it was.
Does Jack Mason of the Perfume Nationalist podcast know that he gets a free advertisement every single week on this show? I don't know. I've never told him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he listens. My God. Okay, anyway, continue.
But, Metallica.
I love Jack, but go ahead. Yeah.
Highest selling band, period. If you go by the, what is it? The Nielsen ratings that were introduced in 1991 for CDs. They've sold with the Black Album and all that.
Because of football stadiums.
Yeah, it's amazing football stadium music for sure.
And Enter Sandman, I think alone probably made them $1 zillion. Yeah.
I mean, but their late bassist Cliff Burton, if you listen to his bass solo on the first album, on their most loud and aggressive punk album, he has like this long instrumental that's basically a Bach piece. Like he basically does Bach counterpoint on electric bass, and that's it. That's the driving thing, and that's what made that music so popular, is that it was anti-image music, when all the bands at that time were like wearing a ton of makeup and tight pants.
Wait, sorry, are you suggesting that Metallica is somehow representative of classical European music?
Yeah, they're definitely an extension of the European tradition for sure. And they've done multiple high-profile concerts and albums with a symphony orchestra. It makes sense for them to collaborate with a symphony orchestra, and they have 10-minute instrumentals on all their albums. Like it's the same part of the brain that gets activated when you're listening to that music. They just happen to do it with loud distorted guitars.
I was going to say, so the argument is that this is what Beethoven would sound like if he had electric guitars?
No, I mean it's just obviously derivative of the Western canon. Like it's they definitely listen to classical music, heavy metal. Like the tritone in heavy metal comes from a bunch of British bands. Those British bands were listening to Gustav Holst, Mars the Bringer of War.
I think I know what's going on.
That wave of heavy metal. Like this is well documented and agreed upon.
This is the first time ever in our relationship I'm going to call you autistic.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're not. You're totally not. But here you are.
Yeah.
That's an autistic argument.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know what I mean? Because it's just breaking it down to the objective facts about the music and evaluating.
This is what you asked me for. I couldn't appeal to feeling. I say just listen to Bach and listen to Beethoven and it'll touch your soul. And you're like, tell me how many albums they sold. Give me a number, Michael.
No.
Justify your...
No, man. I'm talking about something that I thought you believed in, which is soul and the soul.
Sure, I'm just playing along with your
soul of that fucking music. Yeah. The soul of Metallica has nothing to do whatsoever with Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, any of those suckers.
No, you're wrong.
Bro, Ask anybody.
Clockwork Orange.
Ask the people. Do you don't trust the people's taste. I can see this. If you sent out a survey, and ask people, are these similar? Like rank from 1 to 10 in similarity, it'd be a 0. You know this. We need to move on. We have news to talk about.
All right.
But your autism, I think, will be cured in this case. I do have faith in you.
Yeah. All right. Clockwork Orange. What music does Stanley Kubrick use to illustrate that Alex is still human, that Alex has something going on behind his rapacious, violent self?
So,
he uses Beethoven. And it's a universal thing. Yeah.
Wow. So there have been hardcore punk rock 3-chord covers of disco songs, of R&B songs. Does that make those songs now R&B and disco? No, it's punk rock. It's a different genre. Just because the technical structure of the song is the same or similar doesn't mean that it's the same damn music, bro. Do you not know? I thought you were a musician. Is it because you're a drummer? You don't hear tone? Like what?
You're moving the goalpost here. You're moving.
Is it because you're hearing loss? Drummers have a problem with that. But
sure.
All right, we're gonna move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
After I insult you, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
That's how I roll.
I want to talk about Trump's constant winning all the time, and all of his victories. Yeah. And it's hard to do because everybody in alternative media has oppositional defiant disorder and is putting themselves in an oppositional stance at all times. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to get things that they want. They don't know how to view political realities. And so that can isolate the alternative media space. But I wanted to talk about something a little bit here, even though it's not in there. The Gaza 20-point peace plan was voted on and approved by the UN.
Security Council.
Yeah, Security Council. And part of this involves a board of peace that Trump is going to be the chairman of.
Yes.
And we've got Russia and China on board with this. We've got Saudi Arabia on board with this. We've got France, the United Kingdom on board with this. All the power players are on board with this board of peace. And as a little softball to you as a historian, or just thinking about this to me seems like Trump's Wilsonian moment. And I never thought about the connection.
Imagine wanting that.
Yeah. No.
Imagine wanting to wreck the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about this. I've been reading Pat Buchanan's book, The Greatest Comeback, which every Republican needs to read. Every person in the political sphere who wants to do something on the right. It's about Nixon.
Oh yeah.
Basically winning in '68, and how he went from disgraced
when Pat was on his campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, right? Didn't he campaign for him? Yeah.
And he talks about how Nixon idolized Wilson, actually, and how that's not something you would think would be the case, because Wilson is the idealist of all idealists, and Nixon is the pragmatist of all pragmatists. And
true.
Yeah. It seems like these non-ideologues, when they see the chessboard for how it is, and they want to create lasting peace and something that succeeds, they're following in the footsteps of Wilson and creating this governing board that puts the United States in charge of the world. So I now know, after watching Trump over the last 7 or so months conduct the foreign policy that he always wanted to conduct, right? I think in his first term, he just wasn't able to, so we didn't know. And that's why I continued to give him a pass and continued to defend MAGA and continued to defend him and continued to make fun of liberals for their TDS, et cetera. But, now we know the kind of foreign policy he wants, right? So, I mean, I had somehow missed it when he did it first. So I saw it just
yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago. I think it happened last week. His little warning to Nigeria that he was going to go in, quote, guns ablazing, because there's a Christian genocide going on. And this is during Venezuela, which is one of the most gangster imperialist moves in American history. And I'll get back to that in a second. It kind of harkens back to gunboat diplomacy of the 19th century, when Matthew Perry would just roll up into Tokyo Bay and threaten to blow up the whole city with his cannons unless they signed a treaty handing over, all access favorable terms to the United States immediately. And they did. And he rolled out of Tokyo Bay, and and U.S. dominated Japan for the next 3/4 of a century. So until they bombed us in Pearl Harbor. God, what an irony that they reversed that, everybody. Is that what that story was all about? It was about Japan's effort to get out from under the yoke of the United States and Europe. Wow. God, no one knows the Matthew Perry story. Anyway, so that's when there was no pretense, or very little. Well, I mean, they wanted to uplift the world, and there was a Christian evangelizing mission all the way through, as I've said many times. People have heard me say this, from the founding fathers all the way through the 19th century and onward. They all talk the talk about uplifting the savages of the tropics and making them like Americans. And we needed to do that by invading their countries, or bombing their countries, or sending in the Marines to their countries, and then putting schools in there. We did this in the Philippines, but it was a very, like in the Philippines, that's when the machine gun had just been invented, and it was the first use of the Maxim machine gun in combat. And it was used by the U.S. Marines in the jungles of the Philippines against barefoot, the Muslims of Mindanao Island, who were barefoot and had spears and machetes at best. Yeah, so they just would kill entire villages at a time, easy. The My Lai massacre was like a puddle compared to what they did in the Philippines. And and there was no apology about it. There was no commission about, there was no human rights issues. Human rights wasn't even a term, right? Human rights wasn't a term in use in this way until the UN, until the 1940s, until after World War II. I mean, there's a lot of history written about that. And of course, it's been used simply to justify US interventions ever since. But I mean, it wasn't even a concept in the 19th century. And just a lot of very kind of naked brutality, and no attempt to sort of justify, except as, part of America's Christian mission to uplift the world. But that all sort of changes with Wilson, right? And he's the one who starts talking about openly, it's all about Christianization. And he really believed it deeply, because he was a very Christian man, son of a pastor, etc.
Presbyterian.
And yeah, right. Yeah. And that's when the progressive imperialism really cohered together. So we're talking about the first 2 decades of the 20th century, 1900s, 1910s. The era of Woodrow Wilson, the progressives, Teddy Roosevelt, World War I. So he really, more than anybody, brings these ideas together that we are obligated as progressives to uplift the people, the poor people in the slums in our cities, but as Americans and as Christians, secular Christians, but as Americans, we are obligated to go uplift the people in the slums everywhere, because it's a universal idea, Americanism. And they understood that. So anyway, that's when it all became always infused with this humanitarian evangelical mission. All of America's imperial conquests thenceforth were all conducted under that sort of rhetorical umbrella. But I think, and my argument is always, I think it was sincere for the most, not every policymaker, but I think the major policymakers truly did think that they were obligated to help people around the world and to make them more like Americans. None of them got rich off of this, contrary to a lot of popular belief. None of them. In fact, they mostly lost money, the major foreign policymakers, by doing these things. That, they came from corporations and law firms, right? or they were rich kids like Roosevelt and Kennedy. They were making a lot less money as president of the United States than they would have been if they were private citizens. So these are true believers, which are the most dangerous people. They're truly ideological. Now that has broken down, I think, and I talked to Daniel Bessner a lot about this on my podcast. And people should check out American Prestige, his podcast. And he's a political scientist and IR specialist. He very smart, does a lot of good stuff. But anyway, I guess his argument is that, yeah, I mean, it's been emptied of ideological content for a while. American imperial foreign policy, even though it basically looks the same for the most part. I mean, although we haven't occupied anyone in a while. I mean, since Afghanistan, which was 5 minutes ago, which is a long period for the United States to go through without having an occupation somewhere in the world. But so yes, it does still look basically the same as it always has in terms of aggressiveness. We have more military forward bases than ever before. And good Lord, now, how many conflicts we're involved in, either directly or indirectly through shipping weapons. But, Nixon is an interesting little hiccup in that long, unbroken tradition in American imperialism, because basically Nixon didn't give a shit, as far as I can tell. I'm not a Nixon specialist. There are like multiple 1,000-word biographies of him. So it's in there. If it's going to be in there, you'll find it'll be there. There's a lot written on Nixon. Heavily researched man. I've never heard anything from his mouth. I mean, I've done a lot of research of course, around the Nixon administration and Vietnam, et cetera. I've never seen anything that looks like an ideological commitment to, the American mission.
I think he has the moral impulses that you're describing, though. The Protestant Christianity, wanting also, the world to be a better place.
Raised a Christian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? Yeah.
Quaker.
Well, that's right. Odd. Yeah. In Whittier, California. That's right. Mm-hmm. Very unusual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then Trump.
Hoosier.
Okay. Yeah. But I was going to say, but Trump is the real rupture. I mean, I don't see, this is where I don't think you're at all correct. I mean, I think it's a break from Wilsonianism. We've had 100 plus years of Wilsonianism that Trump put his foot in. I mean, he could give a shit about that. I don't think he's ever uttered a word about helping anybody, which is good. Thank God. I love that, about going out and, saving the children and saving the people and, saving people from oppression, giving democracy to people, uplifting them from poverty, all that stuff. That it was our mission to do that. He's right. Have you heard Trump ever say a word like that?
Okay. Truth Social post. Tremendous atrocities are taking place in Sudan. It has become the most violent place on earth. Likewise, the biggest humanitarian crisis. It is considered I'm skipping ahead here. Oh, he mentions the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has asked me to use the power and influence of the presidency to bring an immediate halt to what is taking place in Sudan. We will work with Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and other Middle Eastern partners to get these atrocities to end, while at the same time stabilizing Sudan. Thank you for your attention to this matter. God bless the world.
Well, okay. He sounded like Trump until then. The last line is, that's world first. All of a sudden, we went from America first to Israel first to world first. That's actually what it's looked like lately. So I agree. So do we agree that coming into office, the dude was not Wilsonian at all? Like, he had zero ideological commitment to anything in foreign policy. It was simply about national pride and national wealth. Whatever. You're right. It wasn't America's mission is not to help other people.
He's tweeted out before, I just want to stop the world from killing itself. And I think the stakes of the global conflicts, due to the mismanagement by the illegitimate Biden regime, was pushed things to where nuclear conflict kind of seemed inevitable. And so you have to have a global concern. And he's talked about when people die, that's a bad thing. He's talked about nuclear war being something that can't ever happen, something completely off the table. So that's a global concern there. And
true.
He's always had a belief in America having a position of strength in the world and keeping the world safe through that position of strength.
Okay.
And in his past, he's had Mike Pompeo constantly. Mike Pompeo is not a part of the administration anymore, but in Trump 1.0, Pompeo was giving a Bush Wilsonian view of the world that the establishment was very comfortable with.
But he's not interested. He's never said anything about remaking any other society.
No, but
that's the difference. That's
maybe a little bit now with Gaza. Maybe a little bit now with Gaza, but
well, true, right, right. Anyway, so now he's starting to confuse it again. So now he is starting to sound. I mean, he's not saying anything internationalist, really, but he's doing things. He looks like. I mean, when he did the speech announcing his threatening Nigeria, I mean, I almost had to do a double take. I thought I was watching Dr. Strangelove. It was that level of megalomaniacal recklessness and at a horrific comical level. All, it's for people, Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. I mean, he depicts like, the whole national security apparatus is made up of just lunatics, psychotics, which in large part it was in the 1950s and 60s, by the way. That's not even that much of an exaggeration. It's amazing we survived that period. But Trump reminds me of those guys in that movie now, not even the real life Curtis LeMay. I mean, the guy writing the bomb. That guy. That's what Trump looks like right now. And I have no idea what he's doing because well, I do. I mean, I think I know what he's doing is there are people who have his ear, right? And the people who have his ear are Marco Rubio, hence Venezuela. And by the way, I sort of forgot, oddly, and people don't talk about this, but Marco Rubio, for the last 5 months, I think it is, has been both Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. He's the first person to hold both positions simultaneously since, guess who? Henry Kissinger under Nixon. Talk about power. Talk about power. Globally, Marco Rubio is the president. Like, he has more power in terms of what gets done, what happens, than Donald Trump. I think we're seeing that. Venezuela is definitely a Rubio operation. I think apparently he's had less to do with Gaza and Ukraine, but I think part of what's been happening in the last year or so is Rubio asserting himself. And the Nigeria thing I'm sure Rubio's fine with it, but Trump also has a soft spot for the Christians. And a lot of the MAGA base is that kind of Christian, the Candace Owens kind of Christian, like Christian nationalist kind of Christian, which is just fine. But I mean, that's who he's listening to, right?
Okay.
It's the Candace Owens people who,
well,
and I think it's good to be talking about people getting slaughtered wherever they're being slaughtered, right? Yeah. So in other words, there is no coherence. There is certainly no ideology guiding his foreign policy decision-making, right? Because he pisses off everybody. Like, the neocons hate him. The anti-war people hate him. Everybody hates him. So the old liberal establishment hates him. The Western Europe hates him. Everybody about foreign policy hates Donald Trump. He is on his own. There is nobody on Donald Trump's side in foreign policy now. Nobody, right? There's no faction. There's no organization. There's not even I can't even think of a magazine, like a political website, that is endorsing Donald Trump's foreign policy in any way, shape, or, and in fact, everybody's denouncing it. And I mean everybody except Lindsey Graham. He's got Lindsey Graham, but everybody from Bill Kristol to me is just denouncing everything about Donald Trump's foreign policy from different angles, but he's on his own. Which,
the LaRouchians like him. The LaRouchians
good luck.
like him.
They do? No.
I think so. All the people who really hate the British establishment are on board with Trump. And whoever is Euro elite skeptical is on board with Trump in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, but Brexit. I mean, the Brits are less European than any European. What they should be.
Well,
why are they anti-British?
They're destroying their own country and jumping ship and wanting to establish a global order here.
Okay. Right. The globalist ideas come out of London. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. They see it as a major hub, which is true. Anyway, the LaRouchites, yes, they tried to recruit me. I think their leader tried to seduce me. Actually, it didn't work. I'm not a LaRouchite, but they did try. It's funny. They actually called me on the phone. Somehow they got my number. And I might be
wrong about LaRouche on this. I might be wrong about that particular faction. I might be conflating them with other people who are similar with their analysis.
So let's get back to, one of the ways, and you said this, you raised this, one of the ways in which Trump is totally, I was going to say, confounding my idea that he's not an imperialist, is, you're right, the Gaza plan. And we talked about this last week, right? I think. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this since I found out about the plan. Well, the latest, I mean, actually not Trump's so much plan, but Israel's plan, which Trump is a part of, but it's Israel's plan about Rafah, about the new Gaza, which is what the plan will end up being. I mean, they want it to be, and it's pure Hunger Games. I can't even, as much of a horror show the last 2 years have been, in some ways, the future that Israel is planning is more horrifying. Because again, as we talked about, right? You're disarmed at the border to enter the city. You're questioned and surveilled relentlessly about your political beliefs and your loyalty to the state of Israel. You have to pledge your loyalty to the state of Israel and demonstrate it on a regular basis. And IDF will be infused throughout the city, Rafah. This, by the way, will be the only place left standing, or will be the only place standing in Gaza. The IDF has seized 57% of Gaza, which is the whole outer ring, and everything inside, which is where all the Palestinians are now, is leveled. So everybody's living in tents, basically, or they're living in the rubble of their old house. And so the idea is that the plan is that Rafah is outside. Rafah is the only former city also completely leveled that's in the IDF controlled zone. And so they're going to build this, what are they calling it? The new Gaza city. It's so unbelievably dystopian movie level stuff. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's ever going to come to pass. I can't imagine Palestinians marching into this place. Although the idea, and I've heard Israelis spokespeople talk about the plan, and they're upfront about it. They say, yeah, it's level. There's no place to live in Gaza. So the people, they call it a market choice. I've heard them say this. They say, well, the Palestinians in Gaza will be left with a market choice, whether they want to live in rubble or they want to live in our new city over here, or get out entirely. That's their other option, I guess. Yeah. So those are the three options that Israel is planning. And there's something, I don't know, bombing children made my blood run cold for 2 years and continues to. But there's something about this idea of and putting it into conceiving of it like a prison city for 2 million people and in perpetuity. Like there's no plan, it's not like a 1-year plan or a 2-year plan or a 10-year plan. It's just, this is the plan. we're going to put all these people in this prison city indefinitely until they leave. We're going to force them in because we've destroyed their homes. They have no place to live. So we're going to force them into this prison city. Yeah, that makes my blood turn to ice. I've been resisting thinking about Zionists as uniquely evil. And I think we should resist that. I think it's not good analytically. And I think it also leads us to a really bad politics. I think it's always better to understand the brutality is not unique. It's unique recently. It's certainly not unique in the last 100 years. There have been actually possibly more vicious wars, believe it or not. I mean, not a lot, but yes, Rwanda was 94 and certainly no better than Gaza. But I sure don't know anybody. I sure never have known anybody in my life that I'm aware of who would ever think that way. I guess I did know some people, turns out. But I mean, to actually sit there and plan it and then execute it and force people into a prison camp at gunpoint. Sounds like something we've heard about before, interestingly. But anyway, yeah.
Jordan, UAE, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Somalia.
Signing off.
With this. Yeah.
Yep. All good. Good luck holding on to your kingdoms, fuckers. Yeah. I mean, I think there's going to be another Arab Spring coming. I think at any moment it won't be. Well, I don't know. But I mean, I think it'll be along the lines of this. It'll be about not just Gaza, but just the whole supplicant attitude that all those monarchies have toward the United States and now to Israel since the Abraham Accords movement, which is just the greatest sellout of a people by any set of governments I've ever heard of, by the way. I mean, it's remarkable what they're doing. The selling out of Palestinians, many of whom live in Egypt and all in those countries, right? Just incredible what they've done. Cutting all these deals so that they continue to get rich with Israel and the United States in exchange for the recognition of the state of Israel as the permanent homeland of the Jewish people. I mean, complete, absolute capitulation to Zionism. And also, and part of the deal was we don't talk about Palestine, which they didn't. First time Arab leaders ever negotiated with Israel over anything significant, and Palestine was not mentioned. First time. They just completely. And this is a major, many people have said this is a major cause, really, of 10-7. Because, I mean, it's a theory. We don't really have a lot of, I think we have Sinwar saying a little of this, but yeah, they felt abandoned. I mean, people in Gaza in general felt abandoned completely, rightly so, by the Arab states, which had been abandoning them in various ways anyway, but was really abandoning them with the Abraham Accords. But even, the international left, which has been the Palestine Solidarity Movement, I mean, that's been Palestinians' only hope outside of Palestine, was fading and was getting tired, and BDS had been sort of destroyed. And I mean, Norman Finkelstein and Max Blumenthal have both said publicly that they stopped paying as much attention to Israel and Gaza and Palestine. And so, yeah.
When did they stop paying attention?
I mean, the years up to 10-7, because because the marginal, because Gaza just seemed so hopeless. It had been in a siege for 15 years. And the Arab states were all selling them out. The Abraham Accords that seemed to be like Israel was taking control of at least the governments, the surrounding governments in the Middle East. So I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask them, but they have said this, that they actually stopped paying attention and not lost interest, but just stopped devoting as much of their energy into it because I guess they felt it was hopeless. So, that's what, and imagine living in Gaza.
Well,
surrounded by fences, and knowing this, and knowing that even Norman Finkelstein is no longer thinking about you. He's now, because Norm's book, I interviewed him right before 10/7.
Yeah, I was on
my show.
Yeah.
And it was about wokeness. Yeah, his book was about wokeness. He was anti-woke. That was his thing. He was reinventing himself as an IDW person on the left, I guess. Yeah, and we didn't even mention, I don't think we mentioned Israel in an hour and a half of talking, right? So, right. Yeah, so Sinwar had to even wake up Norman Finkelstein. I mean,
but here we are 2 years later, and you've basically got an even worse deal for the Gazans, and Gaza is destroyed. And the entire international community is on board with it.
Yep. I mean, so if his strategy was to destroy Zionism, I would say he certainly won this battle, because Zionism has never suffered any blow, really, in terms of its international reputation and its force as a movement. The power of Zionism and the state of Israel, I think if you charted it on a graph, I think it's straight up linear since about 1900. I can't think of any time. I mean, there was no major war, no major even battle, and the United States money just kept getting bigger and bigger, and funding, and their own internal economy and their military just kept getting bigger and bigger, and their power regionally bigger and bigger. PLO gets destroyed. Arafat dies, replaced by the lunatic Hamas, who discredits Palestinians even further, yada, yada. They become marginalized. Abraham Accords. I mean, it's just been straight up until boom, 10/7. But really, it was 10/8, 10/9, 10/10 every day since then. Every single day since Sinwar launched that operation, Israel has declined in power, stature, and the hope for its future as a Jewish ethno-state. I mean, it's that, and that is what everybody's talking about now. It's not me. It's, we all know the polls, they have lost the American people. And it's just a question of how long it'll take for those people to be voting for people who are also opposed to Israel. But I've actually heard, what is it? I keep hearing every week, I hear a new politician who's either going to run as an anti-Zionist, basically, or at least anti-Israel, or is a sitting congressperson who's now taking total anti-Israel positions. And I think it's up to like 30. I think it's more than 30 House members who have described it as genocide, which, by the way, I don't. I think it's a mistake to do that, but whatever. I mean, it still just shows you the depth of the anti-Israelism. So yeah, I don't know. They're killing kids. I just saw like 7. They look like 3-year-olds today. I think it was either last night or today, crushed under the rubble of their apartment building. I think they killed 23 people in one building.
In the West Bank?
No, Gaza. Oh no, they're still going. There's been no ceasefire. I don't think there's been a day when they haven't killed somebody. But it's back to like 10, 20 a day. Yeah. Oh no, it's tremendous. And then Lebanon too. They took out an entire building, an apartment building in Lebanon, killed a family of 23. A family of 23 with one missile from a jet. So man, there was, the Colombia, Gustavo Petro, who's this sort of lefty president. He was actually putting together, until the move on Venezuela happened, and this might be related actually. He was putting together, I forget the name of it. It was something for peace. It was like a plan for peace. Someone might know. Force for peace. Anyway, he was very seriously putting together a coalition of countries from the global south, I think, but any country was invited, I think, to become a peacekeeping force, to put it military on the ground between Gaza and the IDF. To actually, I guess, and they would have to invade, I suppose, was the idea. They would enter Gaza somehow and establish just a buffer between the IDF, a defensive shield between the IDF and Gaza. And of course, Venezuela was right there with him. Maduro. I don't know how much resources they had to give to this, but it was gaining steam. And then the most amazing thing, and I was a little surprised by this, Palestinians, I don't know if they had a vote or a referendum or something, but at least the leadership, I believe, of all the factions in Palestine, and there are dozens, by the way, it's not just Hamas. I think they all except one agreed to do this, which was a first. Like, right? They're very famously nationalistic in this way. I mean, and yet, yeah, they were okay with that, which I think was probably a good move, because this army would not ever be a colonizing force. They would never want to stay. So anyway, but that got squashed by Venezuela, which is, again, speaking of naked 19th century style imperialism, this is kind of full circle what I talked about. I mean, Trump is
well, those targets, Venezuela, Nigeria, Sudan.
So he's very much Matthew Perry. I wonder if he's even read about that, because it's precisely what he's been doing. He rolls his ship, like quite literally in this case, into your harbor and threatens to blow you up unless you make a deal with him. It's the art of the deal when you have presidential power in the United States.
That's what the Romans did.
Yeah, business is easy to conduct when you have, the U.S. Navy with you. So, yeah, I think he's that's interesting. Yeah, but it's called gunboat diplomacy, like in IR history, that sort of era. And the Perry expedition is kind of the great exemplar of that. That's Trump. So it's imperialism for sure, but it's a very different kind of imperialism. As I said, most American imperialism has actually been driven by ideological motives. Not all of it, but most of it. But even a lot of the sort of resource grabs that have happened, and there have been plenty of those, were in service of the greater ideological project, right, of American exceptionalism. We can't go into the Philippines and educate their children unless we're rich and powerful. So we have to have their rubber and their oil too while we're there. But I mean, they meant it. I mean, a lot of anti-war people think it was all cynical, and they didn't mean that, but they did. They really did. And you have to study them to know that. These are all ex-missionaries, basically. And the first people to go into the countries that the United States invaded were missionaries. It was a missionary project from the get-go. But anyway, there were moments when they had to have just mercenary type theft of resources, like with Japan. And because they couldn't conquer Japan. Japan was too difficult to actually conquer with the Navy that we had in the 19th century, right? It was impossible. And the Marines that we had in the 19th century, there was no way that was happening. So instead, they just, through military coercion, they got favorable trade deals for a century, until, again, as I said, the Japanese rebelled against their colonial oppressors in 1941. Yeah, I said it. That's what Pearl Harbor was. Of course it was. So Trump is a throwback. And I don't mean to like the 1950s, which is what most people think of when they think of Make America Great Again. I'm talking about the 1850s. Well, it's gangster imperialism. It's not, he doesn't want to stay necessarily unless he makes a deal that requires it, but which is good. This is preferable, by the way. I much prefer gunboat diplomacy to Wilsonian. We conquer the world and stay there forever and educate all their children. That imperialism. I don't like that one. That's my least favorite. I much rather, if we're going to have one or the other, I'd certainly take the hit and run imperialism. God bless every person who gets killed by that, but there's going to be fewer who get killed and fewer who get displaced and fewer who get controlled and fewer who get coerced and all that, and fewer refugees. And so go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was in Venezuela, Nigeria, Sudan. These aren't like stable countries with giant armies. These are places that have been in like civil distress for decades.
Yeah, but they would be if the empires didn't keep fucking with them. I mean, there's no question.
I know, but okay. I'm talking about now in 2025. Like, Trump is still an outsider, and he's coming into the world as it is, and he's inheriting the American system as it is. Mm-hmm. And these are places like Venezuela's had a refugee crisis for a decade. Nigeria and Sudan have been in civil war constantly. These seem like very winnable projects pretty easily that would make it's very easy to make the situation better than it is currently and claim victory. Like, I think it would be easy to send Eric Prince to take out Boko Haram, for example.
You sound like Robert McNamara circa 1964. He's like, no, I really listen. The North
Maduro's already on the table to give us everything we want currently. Like, that's pretty much there.
Wait, what is it? Oh no, what is it? Do you think that Trump wants?
I don't know, but I mean,
you're just claiming,
he doesn't want the resources. It's more than the resources, but
what is
to give up the resources?
Is Maduro's willing to give up the resources?
Yes. Yeah.
You know that?
He made like some statement about it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Maduro's like totally offering surrender, and Trump was saying that's not good enough. Like,
Maduro is not offered the oil reserves of Venezuela to the United States.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
okay.
No. No, I promise you. I just saw a speech. Was it yesterday? Maduro was basically, I mean, he was "fuck you, Yankee." I know he said he wants to negotiate. Yes, he wants to talk to Trump. Sure, but I have not heard anything except "fuck you, Yankee." And he's strapping up. I mean, he's full mobilization. They have their armies is fully mobilized right now.
All right. The headline is Maduro offered Venezuela a dominant stake in Venezuela oil and gold and minerals.
Who says this? According to whom? Who says this?
I'm on.
And what does that mean? What's a dominant stake in those fields?
The dominant stake is the quote.
I don't.
New York Times. After months of talk, the New York Times is the source here.
Now, Maduro, it was just yesterday, I believe, he gave a big rabble-rousing speech in which he kept saying, "Do you want to be an American colony? Do you want to be an American colony?" to the crowd. That's, I mean, people don't understand. I mean, Chavez and his movement, Maduro's, part of that movement. I mean, they were building, and this is why we're invading Venezuela, by the way.
We're not invading Venezuela yet.
Whatever. I mean, we fixin' to, as they say. They were building, and I kind of underappreciated this at the time, but in the 2000s, you know what they did? They had a bunch of money from their oil, and the oil prices were at an all-time high in the 2000s. And so they had all this money. So they're a socialist third world country, but with a credible load of cash. And they used a lot of it. I mean, they did a lot of socialist programs internally, and I don't know a lot about that. And there's, of course, many debates about it. And I have friends who think it was all awesome and helped the poor. And I have, of course, a lot of other friends who think it was all communist malfeasance and is what produced Venezuela's poverty. And there's a big debate about it. Anyway. But no, Chavez was building by giving massive loans and grants, basically, and stuff to all the countries in Latin America who were anti-imperialist, anti-US, and building an alliance. In fact, there was a name for it at one point. It was kind of the original BRICS. Forget the name of it, but that was Chavez's thing, and that's why they went after him. There's no question. I mean, of course, a major part of that was to nationalize the resources, right? Which is that's the classic moment when the anti-colonialism takes hold, right? When people start talking about resources and nationalizing them. And that's, of course, when the colonizer starts killing. I mean, that's just in every case. So, yeah, I mean, it's, and that was 15-ish years ago that there was an actual anti-US imperialist coalition and movement building throughout Latin America. And that's why we're getting ready to kill some more of them. We've been killing Latinos for 125 years, 122 years. Pretty much every year, we've had some U.S. troop somewhere in Latin America shooting some brown person. It's an honored tradition, That's what the Marines have been all about. That's where the Marines really got their bones, by the way, after the Philippines. I mean, most Marines who did any combat did it in Latin America in the most of the 20th century. But certainly the first half of the 20th century, they were just going into Nicaragua every other year, Panama all the time, all of them. Yeah, in and out. And mostly that was about resources to fund the greater imperial project of remaking the world in our image. So there you go. God bless you, Trump. You're a complete piece of shit.
The story I'm looking at was from a week ago, and apparently it was an offer that was cut off, and then I think the escalations are after that happened. But
what? What do you have to say for that?
Yeah. I think we should note on the front the unrest that happened in Mexico this week.
Yeah.
And Trump also leveraging his rhetoric to go against Mexico now that they're a
right.
little bit weaker.
Another country that he's right. Another country he's basically threatening to invade, or at least attack, and that's what this all is, by the way. So,
well, apparently Claudia Sheinbaum isn't as popular as we were told she was.
Right.
Or this is some.
Which is bullshit. She's very popular. So yeah, she's part of the Morena party, which is the sort of led this movement to, it goes back a couple decades, but they're the ones who got rid of the PRI, which was the old corrupt machine boss party that ruled Mexico through the 20th century. And they split apart, and there was a movement, a sort of basically a pro-democratic, kind of left liberal movement. PRI was sort of right-oriented, and obviously completely undemocratic. And they rigged all their elections. It wasn't even questioned. Anyway, so there's been, over the last 10 to 20 years, kind of a pretty powerful left liberal political movement taking over much of Mexican national politics. And she's like the Obama of that, the woman, etc., but who's also very charismatic and very popular. And so it's, of course, very threatening to the national populists around the world, who I used to be a fan of, but I'm no longer. Yeah, so there's nationalist populist networks. I'm not exactly sure. I think if like Hungary's, I think, is involved in this. Certainly the US have been trying to take down Sheinbaum and take down the Morena party and this whole movement in Mexico. And so what they did was they organized this protest, and very deliberately, there's a video of this. I've seen a lot of it. You can see it's very clear. They orchestrated it. Now, a significant number of people showed up, but it was like they filled, I think, half the Zocalo, which is the big public square, and it's right in central Mexico City, which is where the presidential palace is, or the seat of government is. And yeah, I mean, normally in Mexico, when there's any kind of major political sort of crisis, Zocalo is full, like completely full. And but again, a significant number of people. But and the right wing has a significant number of people, and Mexico City has 20 million people in it. So anyway, they did a lot of organizing, and then they deliberately attacked the cops. It was January 6th. It was just that, which is fine. But it was also, it needs to be known that it was organized in part by this global pop right-wing movement. And of course, how was it portrayed? The way you're talking about it. Sheinbaum's not that popular. Actually, what has Trump said? Mexico's in chaos. The cartels have taken over. Look at the videos of this protest, right? That's exactly what he said.
Well, yeah.
And we know what he wants to do.
Look at the dozens of politicians that have been murdered by the cartels in the past few years.
Okay, but yes. So what?
Mexico is a pretty chauvinist population, culturally, largely Catholic population. How is this globalist female? I don't think Sheinbaum is a Mexican name. I don't see how that's a popular person.
No, she's Jewish.
Mexico. Yeah. Oh,
she's
okay.
actually Jewish.
Yeah, and she's banned her own silhouette. Like,
but I don't think she's a Zionist, though. I'm pretty sure. I need to check that, but I don't think so. I mean, I think she's an anti-Zionist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Her family, I believe, are Bolsheviks originally that came to Mexico. There's a big communist crossover to Mexico, especially with the wars that were happening 100 years ago.
Oh yeah.
There's deep seeds for resentment here, for a globalist like this reaching heights of powers, especially when it doesn't feel like the government's really in control.
What kind of a how is she a globalist? I don't know about her globalism. I know about her sort of left, as I said, left liberal, social democratic welfare reforms, basically. Mm-hmm. Domestically, I don't know a lot about it, but I know I get the sense she's just sort of like would be like a liberal Democrat, maybe like a Bernie Sanders, maybe. That's not more than that, but
that's global establishment politics. Like,
globalism is about the globe, right? That's what I think of it. Okay. And that's what worries me. Anything that's global, any kind of global idea or global plan or global government or global governance, reach for your gun. I don't see her doing that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. She could be part of I just haven't followed her that closely. Is she part of the Davos crowd and she's running around with the Clinton Foundation and she's like calling for the United States to intervene everywhere? I haven't seen that. I'd sort of doubt it. And best of all, this is what I like about her, and this is all any American should care about, right? What they think about the United States. That's all we should, right? And what she thinks about the United States, basically, from what I've heard, is that we should leave them the fuck alone, which is exactly what the United States should do with Mexico, and legalize drugs. I mean, those are the two things: leave them alone and legalize drugs, and Mexico will be paradise, which is what it was before the drug war. It was paradise, and much of it still is, and much of it will be as soon as they legalize drugs. Most of it's paradise. Most of Mexico is amazing, and the cartels are active mostly in the north, and a little bit in Jalisco, and as far as I know, that's about it. The most of the country, it's not even an issue, and it's an incredible place. And one of the great crimes that never really talked about of the United States in its global rampage is what it did to Mexico. I mean, I attribute it almost entirely to the U.S., the cartels, all the drug wars there, all the killing, all of it. I mean, it's because we not only make drugs illegal in our country, we enforce that in other countries in Latin America, and then also enforce them to combat it and enforce it with the damn military if necessary, right? And we've been doing that since the 1960s. Since Lyndon Baines Johnson, yes, a liberal Democrat, began the drug war, 1965. Wasn't Nixon. He accelerated it, but it was LBJ's war. Just like Vietnam. What a resume. Imagine that, having the war on drugs and the Vietnam War both on your resume. Good dude.
Mm-hmm. I encourage people to look up Claudia Sheinbaum's background.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Commie?
Well, climate scientist, and her parents were commies. She's
yeah, so are mine.
Yeah.
It's okay. Climate scientist makes me nervous. I don't like that. Or makes me nervous, I should say.
Mayor of Mexico City during COVID, so lockdown mayor, and that's what.
Who wasn't?
Yeah, I know.
But okay, yeah. I'm not pro Sheinbaum. I just think we should leave her alone, don't you? Or do you?
I'm very skeptical of the legitimacy of the Mexican government with the cartels.
That's not answering my question.
Should we leave her alone?
Yeah. What should U.S. policy be towards Mexico?
Right. She is our direct southern neighbor.
There should be no policy with Mexico.
No policy for our direct southern neighbor.
We should operate as if we don't know
at all about our southern border.
No, of course. I mean, we should trade, of course, but I mean, there should be zero military or political policy. Yeah. Trade policy, sure. Which is to say, no policy. No, there should be no policy. There should be no immigration policy, no trade policy, and certainly no military policy, which is to say, let people do what they want. Oh my God. Do you want to intervene?
No, I mean.
Okay, then say so. God damn it.
Well, I mean, I'm open to a brainstorming session. Yeah.
A brainstorming session about which people you'll kill?
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, wouldn't it be nice if the cartels?
Do you think there's a
safer?
And you think there would be some kind of military operation that wouldn't kill somebody you'd feel bad about?
That's not my job, but like
it is if you're brainstorming about it.
Yeah, I know. But
if you're helping the world think about what to do, it actually does end up, having some influence. Yes. Mm-hmm. So here's your chance to you get to choose whether people live or die in Mexico, Michael, right now.
I think.
What do you do?
All right. The options are complete anarchy, utopia, or nuking all of Mexico. Those are the two options.
Do you know the dons of the cartels, the bosses of the cartels? Do you know how many kids they have? Mm-hmm. And grandkids they have? These guys are like the ultimate. You should love these guys, by the way. They're the ultimate patriarchs. They have these massive families on these massive estates on top of mountains, right? And do you think none of those babies would be harmed?
Hey, the mayor who just got killed last week.
When Delta Force drops out of its helicopters at night and does an Afghanistan on them, what do you think's going to happen?
The cartels murder people who have families too. This isn't a totally neutral space.
I would hope the cartel would shoot the fucking Black Hawk out of the sky. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. With an RPG if necessary. I hope they have surface. I bet they have surface to air missiles by now. I hope they do. Have you seen the cartels lately? Have their kit now? It's amazing. They look like proper militaries.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, it'll be easy. It'll be easy. Go ahead, do it. Yeah, just drop a Hellfire missile on some.
Well, I think they've shown restraint because it wouldn't be easy, but I'm just saying.
And some casa.
There's more than nothing to be done here. Just keep an eye on them. That's all.
Keep an eye on who?
On Mexico and on Shine Bomb and on the cartels. And
did you mean Mexicans, right? Keep an eye on Mexico.
Just keep an eye on it. Epstein. We got 10 minutes to talk about Epstein.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I want to talk about the crypto crash too, but and I wanted to mention Vicente Fox was out there, which was interesting to see. He was out in the protests, so I don't know what he's doing. Yeah,
no one.
And
does.
He was kind of an establishment guy too, which is kind of surprising. So,
well, president, yeah. I mean, he was pretty big. He was pretty establishment. Yeah.
I know, but well respected globally.
He's part of the anti-Morena thing, right? He's part of this, apparently. Yeah. He's working with whoever's I don't know. There's been all sorts of allegations about networks of right-wingers globally involved in this. But anyway, let's move on to Epstein, more important things.
Yeah.
Not. Well, maybe. So Michael Tracy has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that basically all of the allegations of pedophilia and child trafficking, I guess not sex trafficking. I guess Epstein is guilty of soliciting prostitution from adult women. I think that's true. But anything involving underage women is totally baseless, and that all the accusers are frauds. It's if you spend 20 minutes reading Tracy's stuff on this, you'll see the evidence is just obvious and overwhelming. They're all documented serial liars, all of them. I mean, and the fantasists. I mean, the fantasies they would spin out about all these men who raped them and all the violence that was done to them, and it was complete like science fiction level stuff. I'm convinced of it. If you don't believe me, I'm trying to get him to write a book. Richard Hanani.
Oh,
yeah. Richard Hanani and I are we're pushing Tracy. He needs to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you read his stuff on his Substack about Epstein, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see. It's obvious. And the lawyers who are behind this too, complete hucksters. It's complete fake. Now so Tracy's completely right about that. I would bet lots and lots of money on it, put it that way, that he's right about that. He doesn't really address, he wrote something recently, I haven't read it yet, but he wrote something recently about the connections between Epstein and Israeli and I guess also U.S. intelligence agencies, because he had, and this is what I try to get out of Tracy when I was interviewing him about this, and he kind of was a bit obstinate as he was about everything. But yeah, I mean, to me, as I said, like that's the story. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the story is, but the story is that Jeffrey Epstein, for whatever reason, was clearly working with and probably for intelligence agencies in the US, Israel, and maybe Britain too. And maybe all three. And there's just so much evidence for that. So that's what we need to be talking about. He wasn't raping children. Nobody was raping children.
There used to be an axiom among the libertarian crowd that bipartisan things are the worst things ever. All the wars are bipartisan. All the spending is bipartisan. Oh, yeah. And this is the first time you've gotten Congress to agree on something. Has been a near unanimous vote. One representative voted against it.
Who was that?
Quote, release the Epstein files. Oh, I forget it. It was a Republican. It's not Corey Mills, I don't think, but it was one of the.
What was the rationale? That's a bad vote to take.
Well, I know. Sadly, he's going to be the one guy who protected pedophiles for the rest of his career now.
I hope his name isn't in there.
Yeah.
I hope his name isn't. I mean, that would be really bad for him.
Yeah. Well, he's a Republican, so his name's probably not in there.
I wonder what his motivation was. I wonder what he said about this. That's surprising.
I think he might have been the one person to actually read the bill. That might have been it.
What's wrong with the bill?
Tracy has pointed this out, is that if you care about disclosure, this bill gives Pam Bondi the total right to redact everything.
Oh,
I
didn't know that.
It gives the Attorney General pretty much unanimous powers to redact whatever it thinks to protect potential victims. So it gives that discretion to the Attorney General. And so
guys,
I'm wondering if Thomas Massey even read his own bill.
This is why you never want to be a revolutionary, because as soon as you take control of the government, you start redacting things. You start restricting freedom. You start going to war. You start putting people in jail. You start censoring your political. Every regime has done it. Every revolution has ended up there. The Trump revolution is no different. It's classic. It's classic. Yeah.
This is a hoax. This is a total Democrat hoax. This entire Epstein business. And
the whole thing's a hoax. I mean, from start to finish, right?
Yeah. So
First, it was a right wing. It was a right wing hoax for years, and for the last 6 months, it's been a left wing hoax. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a hoax in that, 2015, Donald Trump talked about the connections between Bill Clinton and Epstein, and there's something very legitimate there. And Trump is the one who arrested Epstein. Epstein's now presumably dead. As we've looked into this, it looks like Trump was the guy who probably ratted on Epstein a long time ago and actually cared about this. And if you look at the emails that have come out recently, it turns out Epstein was a resistance lid who was doing fundraisers for Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, and that's why Trump dumped him.
Yep. And the Democrats are posting, see, Epstein said Donald Trump is the most dangerous person he's ever met in 2017. This is what Epstein's emailing, which is what every resistance lib thought. And if you look at the circles he hung in, Harvard, Larry Summers, like he's totally MSNBC brained if you read these emails. And
that's funny.
Another thing about this,
he cared about abortion rights mostly.
Yeah. The Stacey Plaskett thing. Stacey Plaskett was texting Jeffrey Epstein directly.
This is more important. Do you know that you can see Stacey Plaskett's naked boobs online?
I did not.
She was, what happened? It was really funny. She has had the worst career as a congressperson. I think she was starting out as like her first year. I think her ex-husband or something like leaked some nudes of her. They're all over the internet. And because she's an agent of the state, no rules of humanity apply to her. So I do encourage everyone to look at those pictures. There's other reasons too, but anyway, so sorry. Stacey Plaskett was in the pocket of Epstein because she's the congressperson she's the representative delegate from the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, they were texting back and forth
during a hearing.
Yeah, to try to get Trump. She was taking directions from Epstein about what questions to ask.
How did we get? And we have those texts. How did they get those?
They were in, I think, the email dump. So the House Oversight Committee released a bunch of emails. The Democratic House Oversight Committee released a bunch of emails to paint Trump as being involved with Epstein. And then the Republicans released 23,000 more.
Yeah, but these were text messages to Stacey Plaskett's personal phone.
So how were these released? I think they were part of that giant dump, though. I think they were part of that dump.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Who cares? Yeah, of course. I mean, he was like the rich guy on the island. I mean, he was one of the rich guys in the Virgin Islands. He might have been the richest guy in the Virgin Islands, probably. So of course she's going to take his messages. Yeah. Right. Every congressperson does. There's nothing unusual there.
In 2019, though, would you take them in 2019?
Oh, well, what do you suggest? I mean, I don't care. What are you getting at? Like that she was protecting him? She was in on that.
Let's see. He was arrested first in 2009. Was he texting her from jail?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Wasn't he locked up?
Timeline. This is crazy. Yeah, they were texting in 2019. So he was in jail then, right? Like,
I doubt it. Although my friend texted me from jail many times. You know, there's Instagram. People in prison have Instagram accounts now. They're like doing social media now because they're smuggling in lots and lots of smartphones all the time. It's a crisis in all the prisons.
So he was arrested in July. Maybe these texts were in January.
It must have been. He was on his way. Yeah. Damn. Okay.
But he was also,
So what are you getting at? Like, I don't get the significance of this really.
She should obviously be censured. Like she should be disciplined.
Okay.
As much as possible. The Republicans voted on it. It didn't go through.
Okay. Why? Why do you care?
So this is a good thing. Like the Epstein files should only exist to put Democrats in jail. Like that's the political function they serve.
I see.
That's what should, And
this is,
So
you're going you're on full Fuentes here.
No, this is
that's what that's his plan.
Basic common sense. Like
no, that's what Nick. We've talked about this. That's what Nick Fuentes is calling for. He's calling for jailing Democrats
twice a day. I don't.
I'm just trying to clarify where you are, brother. That's all.
Sure.
Okay, lock him up.
And
okay.
Hitler had a dog, you know. But
Hitler did have some interesting things to say. But anyway, yeah. What?
So.
Okay. Lock him up.
Yes.
Epstein. Okay. All right. And we're gonna get what for
Larry
that?
Summers
are the Democrats going to go away? Is liberalism going to go away when we lock up the Democrats?
This is the thing, though. This is like.
Don't you think it'll help them a lot
if they go to jail?
Yeah. Don't you think we'll have a communist fucking revolution if we try that?
The communists are going to come to save Bill Clinton.
You don't think the left will increase
They will
in size and
radical.
power.
No.
And get more radical if you lock up Democrats?
No. I mean, you got to do it when there's political will for it. But like,
okay.
I think the Epstein thing provides tons of cover for political will to do this transparently. I don't think anybody so for example, like Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton didn't show up to their House hearing on this. Mm-hmm. Like Peter Navarro was thrown in jail for not showing up to his, like Democrats threw tons of Republicans in jails under the same pretenses.
Michael, like, I used to hate Democrats too. I did. You know that. I hated them so much. I spent all day, every day hating Democrats. It's my thing, man. Everything I did was about hating Democrats.
When actual consequences are on the table.
I'm older now. I'm older now. Okay. And when you mature, you start to see things and with a little more perspective, and you start to, question your emotional attachments in the past that you had, and you move on, and it's a better life. It really is. Just let go is what I'm saying. I don't know, man. No, fuck them all. Of course. I just don't get who cares? This is all like let them fight each other. That's fine. But I don't.
No, I am explicitly partisan, and I do think, but
you're not really. I mean, you're hardly like a good Republican.
I think they're the only game.
You're partisan of which party?
I like America. I think the Republicans are the only game in town. I think Nixon, Reagan, and Trump have been the only populist opposition to globalist establishment politics, leftward politics.
True. That's true.
I think that's where the heart of the country is, and I think anybody who wants to actually fight the power, the Republicans.
I think it's the left ventricle of the country. Which is the bigger or the smaller ventricle? There's two, right? I don't know. There's more than one two ventricles. Anyway, it's the smaller half of the heart of the country. It is. There's like two hearts, but I think it's smaller. I think it's like 40-ish%. And also, they don't control the cities.
They don't control the cities. No. They should, and there's a plan to get them back.
No, because they don't like cities. They don't like cities. They don't like cities. This is a big thing that no one talks about with MAGA. There's an anti-urbanism, which I get given the state of American cities, but still, I think it's deeper than that. I do think these are people who just, and there is a particular political type that's anti-urban. It's a thing historically. And I think they're part of that. And actually, we should write it. We should deal with that. We haven't talked about that. But yeah, and you can see it kind of playing out now in like real terms. The civil war that's happening, and there is some, not quite.
The coming war of coastal aggression.
It's not quite kinetic, but it's like a gathering storm civil war. Whatever it is, precisely that. It's between the cities and the suburbs, which is really where MAGA's from, by the way. Just like every country singer is from a suburb. Like they're not from the rural areas.
What's wrong with the suburbs?
Nothing. I live in one. I live in a total suburb now. I love it. But I'm just saying that's who they are. And that's what the war is, in large part. And that's really what's happening. I mean, Chicago is precisely that. San Francisco held them off. We have a semi-MAGA mayor in San Francisco, amazingly. He actually talked to Trump on the phone and talked him out of sending in the National Guard.
You have a smart mayor. You have a very smart mayor who knows how to work with Trump.
You know what it is, I bet? He's Levi Strauss family.
Well,
and I bet that's what it it Trump
he
just
flattered Trump. He said, what was the statement? He said,
that too.
We totally understand your concerns, but right now we're focused on innovating in AI. Here's all the things that we're doing that are part of your agenda, and sending in the National Guard would disrupt that. So we're trying to win together here. He's the only person who knows how to work with Trump from the left. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also been sweeping the streets of homeless people. There's been a pretty big, I don't know if it's a roundup, but a pretty big enforcement of loitering laws lately for the first time. Market Street, I was there just a few days ago, and I couldn't believe I didn't see any homeless people on Market Street. There are pockets of the city where they're gone, and I think he's been rousting them. but also building like housing for them too. It's kind of impressive. I like it. From what I know, I don't know a lot about it, but that is what's happening. And so I think he told Trump that too, because Trump wanted to get rid of the. I love how Trump is just like, it's the America's like his house, and he just walks around his house. There's a mess over there. Clean that up. If you don't do it, I'm going to send in somebody right now. He just doesn't like it. It's like it's aesthetically unpleasing to him. So he like develops policy and sends in the military to address his aesthetic concerns with the country. And I really think it's aesthetic for him. Sorry. Okay. Well, here we are. MAGA Central. Guys, direct your complaints about Michael's politics to me. I will digest them and send Michael an executive summary with my decision, my action item decision, and I'll let you all know. Michael, good luck with that. We're gonna have a little session with you, a little struggle session. It's gonna be
you need to be angrier, Michael. You need to not like what things are going on.
For those of you who want to defend Michael, I suggest
you need to be more outraged. You need to be more pessimistic. You need to
just be less tribalistic, man. That's what bothers people.
I'm not tribalistic. I'm not at all.
All right.
I'm just I'm not. I didn't make an argument that white culture was better than any other culture. I just defined that white culture existed after you prompted me to. Like it's a pretty neutral.
We're good,
territory
man.
I'm on.
We're good.
I just think white people exist. That's all. I just think that they're real, and that I think that they're just as valid as anybody else.
Nah, man, we're ghosts. We're ghosts. We're just, but we're like ghosts in the machine. We control everything, but you can't see us. God, I wish. All right, let's go. After show time.
Yeah.
The party starts.
We're really.
If you want to hang out with us and our subscribers, our supporters, who are just good people, you want to come to the after show after Unreported, which starts right now. And to do that, just become a Substack paid subscriber. So cheap. And you can come and watch. You can be totally anonymous. We don't have to know your name or your face or anything. Or you can come in and yell at us and play and party, and it's a lot of fun. So every Wednesday night for, 5 years now, something like that. Incredible. All right. See some of you in 1 minute in the Zoom room. And Michael, I guess I'll see you there too. And otherwise, I'll see everyone else next week. Good crowd again tonight. Getting some good audiences because of you, man. Tribalism is hot now. That's why we're getting white tribalism.
We need to figure out what you sound like the Wikipedia editors, like who called
Michael Weimer, comma white tribalist leader, comma conspiracy theorist, comma far right podcaster, comma. All right, bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Peace.
Stay black, Dad.
Always.
And we're